Welcome to the Natanya Experience, where we explore transformation, radical self love, and a journey from the ordinary to the extraordinary. I'm your host, Natanya Wachtel, and today we have the incredible Shaunah Margaret. Shaunah is the executive director of Women Who Create. I'm also proud to say that I am the board chair of this organization and have the privilege of working with Shaunah directly. Shaunah's journey from her roots near Detroit, Michigan, and her current role in New York City exemplifies the resilience and dedication she's shown raised by a single parent. She pursued her passion for creativity, earning an internship that brought her to the heart of the advertising industry. Navigating the challenges of being a young woman of color in a predominantly white, male-dominated field, Shaunah recognized the need for creating a supportive community for women like herself. This realization led her to found Women Who Create, which is an organization dedicated to empowering women of color through mentorship, educational programming, and community building. Women Who Create has grown exponentially, connecting over 2,000 women globally through mentorship programs and hosts transformative events like the Make Move Summit every year. Women Who Create also offers grants like the Dream in Color Grant, which provides financial support to students and entrepreneurs of color. And these grants have helped many pursue their dreams and make significant impact in their communities. Today, we'll dive into Shaunah's inspiring journey, the mission and impact of Women Who Create, and how you can get involved to support this vital work. This conversation promises to be an enlightening exploration of empowerment, creativity, and community. Hi there, and welcome to the Natanya Experience. I have the very fabulous Shaunah Margaret with me today, and this is a very important episode and show to help share with the public really all about what Shaunah and her team has been doing with Women Who Create, who it's for. And Women Who Create is also, of course, one of our designated nonprofits that we're trying to shine a light on, as we believe that is quite mission aligned with what this show is all about. Starting there, we're going to talk to Shaunah a little bit about how she came to create this amazing nonprofit, some of the things that it does and who they serve, as well as some of the projects, programming, and how you can get involved to help. So, in the spirit of telling the why of how you've come to follow this passion, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about yourself and how you came to go on this journey that turned into Women Who Create.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for having me, Natanya. I'm very happy to be sharing my story. I'm Shaunah Margaret, and I'm the founder of Women Who Create. And the why starts with where I'm from. I grew up right outside of the Detroit area in Michigan. I was raised by a single parent, and I really wanted to go to art school. I was always creative, and that's something I really wanted to do with my life. After art school, I got an internship that landed me in New York City, where I live now, and I've been here for the last 11 years. And when I got to New York, I felt like I didn't know anything. My parents don't have a corporate career. I'm really the first person in my family to have one. I'm the first person in my family to move away from where I live. I'm the first person to have a 401k. I'm a lot of firsts in my family, so I really had to figure things out on my own. I mean, even things from like learning how the elevator worked in my building. Like it's different from elevators in Michigan, and so many things and so many unspoken rules as well. I came into the advertising industry where I was working as a copywriter. So like just team dynamics. Advertising is mostly white male dominated, and being a young woman of color in this industry, it was very difficult to navigate certain things. Hard to relate to people, hard for people to like see my experience or where I'm coming from. So um, there were a lot, there were a lot of mental, emotional challenges in that. Um, a few years into my experience working in advertising, I kind of finally got a hold of things. I learned a lot of things on my own. I learned a lot of things the hard way, learned a lot of lessons, and it was something that I really wanted to give back. I knew that there were other people like me who were coming to New York without anyone, who didn't have family that has the type of career that they have, that were also navigating these types of situations. And I thought to myself, What if there was a community that I could help create for women like me who are creative and need some assistance or some advice, guiding them along this journey? And I thought about it in the terms of a mentorship program. And so Women Who Create was born. And the first cohort that we had, there was like 20 people who signed up. We had 300, and now we've had almost 2,000 people that we've connected in mentorship across the world, really.
That is quite an accomplishment and an achievement, and something that probably has waves of impact across people individually as well as their entire ecosystems as well. So one of the things that's really exciting that I hope you could talk about as well is some of the programming like the Make Moves Summit and things like that, what you've been doing to help, specifically guide women of color and the BIPOC community and trans folks who are looking to get some basic information. Like I remember in the year and a half ago, we had a speaker on financial literacy and sort of things that aren't necessarily just about go get it, although that's important as well. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you came to create some of the sort of informational, educational content that is also part of the organization.
Yeah, of course. So we started off with just the mentorship program where we connected women of color who are in college or early in their career with women in the field of advertising, fashion, music, and technology. And as we started learning more about what the needs were from our community, we found out that events it was something that was very needed in the community. Before the pandemic, we started hosting a bunch of events in person, and when we had a room just filled with really ambitious, creative, curious women of color and people that also wanted to give back, there was this magic that was created in the room. And that magic is what happens every time we have an event, which is, I feel like, so special and why we continue to do the same things. A lot of the comments we received at those events were like, this is the first time I haven't been one of the onlys in a room. This is one of the only times I'm around people that look like me who had a similar experience like me. And of course, there's something to be said about mentorship from all different kinds of people, but there's something very specific that young women get from having advice and seeing people who look like them, who've achieved the things that they want to achieve, and how that inspires them in their career. So, from those initial events, we decided to do a longer form content event that we call Make Moves. That also was we conceived through the pandemic, and we got the opportunity to bring lots of people outside of New York into our community as well. And it was a virtual event that had about 3 to 4 hours of content, all featuring women of color leaders or women of color entrepreneurs from all different fields, sharing their experiences. How did they get from point A to point B? How did they rise up in their career? How did they overcome obstacles that our community is currently facing right now? And it was everything from, yeah, like financial planning to entrepreneurship, burnout, being a woman of color as a leader amongst a lot of white males. And it was just very empowering and inspiring to hear those stories from people, and thing that we were continuing to do and celebrate in the future as well.
Thank you. That's incredible. And, I know I'm, as board chair, incredibly honored for being allowed to be, viscerally feeling and seeing all of this magic and to be able to bring people across the aisle, if you will, from allyship and also intergenerationally. So, regardless, and we have men on the board to be clear for the audience. We basically are open to help wherever we can get it, right, Shaunah? And what that means is we all learn and we all grow together. And so issues that maybe we weren't aware of in our daily life, those of us who are maybe 10, 20, 30 years beyond in our careers, but also understanding the culture shifts. So everyone, it's just such an incredible didactic environment because we have so many people working together in different ways to help people feel seen, accepted, heard, and supported and guided. And it, definitely goes both ways. I think the mentors and the mentees have shared pretty openly the incredible impact in terms of what the programs have done for them. Just really quickly, speaking of the impact, I was wondering if you could share a little bit about the study that was done about the mentorship program. And some of the interesting things I just want to call out that maybe you can speak to is how many young people had said they never even had or thought they could have a mentor before this program.
Yeah, I think it was around 88%. And this is also a national statistic of young women who have never had a female manager or a female in leadership. So that was one of the honestly guiding principles of the organization. Like we as young women, as women of color, we feel a certain way in the workplace, but until we see a number on paper, we're like, oh, okay, it's not just in my mind, it's something that's actually confirmed. Like, for example, there's also 4% of women of color represented in the C-suite, which means there's 95% of white male in the C-suite. That has an impact on us because, there's a quote like, you can't see what you can't be what you can't see. And, that's obviously not, it's not like a permanent state of what someone would experience, but it does impact us in terms of what we see we can become in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it can be considered hackneyed at this point to say the phrase representation matters, but it's a way of embodying that concept in that it's more real. It's one thing for me to say, you can do anything, Shauna. It's another thing for you to see a Shauna up on the stage next to me. And we understand and respect that together. And we make the best of every opportunity that we can to make sure that that happens. And I'm just, really, really so thankful for this entire initiative, and hopefully that we can get more awareness of the fact that this exists for folks around the country and the globe. So I was wondering if we could shift a little bit to talk about some of the other things that Women Who Create does in terms of the grants. Would be another way to show what we're doing and what that kind of impact looks like. And I will say my own challenge in this process is when we are reviewing the applications, it's actually eviscerating that we can't award all of them. And so that's my not so subtle plea to anyone listening, as well as when we distribute, that any sponsorship that comes in is put to good use and can change an entire trajectory of someone's life. And most of these people are trying to do something in the world that helps bring along others. So we're always struggling with how much we can do and how many grants we can give. And it's the hardest part, honestly, of my role is that, not being able to help everyone. And so we can talk a little bit about the kinds of people maybe who apply for these
Yeah.
grants and what the grants are for.
Yes. So one of my favorite contributions that we've done so far is offering a grant, and it's called the Dream in Color Grant. It gives $5,000 to a student of color who is pursuing a creative career, and $5,000 to an entrepreneur of color who is making a difference in their community. How this came about was we were contacted by Vera Bradley, and they helped us with a grant to cover the cost of running the business. And part of the conversation we had with them was they really wanted this to be given to the community in some way. And so we went back and created this grant program. And I think we had over 500 people who applied to the grant. And as Natanya was saying, these were the most incredible people that I've ever read about, seen in my life. And they all needed some type of financial they all need some type of financial help in their projects or their career. And why it's so important to me is that mentorship is great. Mentorship is definitely part of the things that help us in structuring our life, our future, in our career, personally, professionally. But money is also something that really prevents people from going after their dreams. So when I got the internship in New York, I couldn't just go to New York. Like the internship program that I got awarded us with a stipend to work in New York and also provided housing. And if that was not part of the agreement, I would not be in this chair today because they were able to help with that with the monetary part of that internship, I was able to work in New York. I was able to discover what I could create, the impact I could create, and that would have never happened if I stayed in Michigan. So I really want to give that back to others to say, like, okay, we're giving you this opportunity. What's possible for you now? What is possible now that we have the opportunity? Because I've achieved so much from that gift that was given to me. So we've been able to give this grant for 2 years now. I know there's a lot of economic hardship, but it's my dream to have this funded this year and for many, many years to come. It's $10,000 to give each of these $5,000 grants. I'm wishing and manifesting that we can give way more than just two grants every year and more money as well, because it really, really makes a difference for people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. So, we're going to take a little short break and then we'll be back and we're going to talk about some other exciting projects on the event horizon for women who create with Shaunah Margaret. Well, we are back with Shaunah Margaret, the Executive Director of Women Who Create, and we're talking about some of the ways that Women Who Create functions and who they serve and what some of the things that we're looking for. So there's a few things on the event horizon. We are in the month of March 2024. And we have a special event coming up towards the end of the month in Brooklyn called Regal Resilience, which is a collaboration between actually a colleague of mine who is a minority woman in tech. And she has graciously offered, her name is Natanya Experience, and she has offered to also support women who create and amplify their mission and vision to this community. I was wondering if you wanted to just talk a little bit about what that partnership is all about.
Yeah, so I'm so grateful, Natanya, that you put me in touch with Tanya. It's just been incredible brainstorming and collaborating with her so far. We're really excited for this event at the end of March, which is Women's History Month. Happy Women's History Month. And part of how we're collaborating is that we are featuring women from our community in an art gallery, actually at the site at Brooklyn Commons. So we've been able to do a call for artists that are incredible, and we're going to have a couple of pieces that I presented in an art gallery space there. There's going to be a ton of inspiring speakers. There's going to be a women's marketplace there. I think meditation. She's covering all grounds, and it's going to be a really amazing day for diverse women and creative women.
That's awesome. And we will make it available to people to find out a little bit more about that in our collateral. That's great. And then we were talking a little bit about mentorship in the first part of the show, but I was wondering if you could talk a little bit, because I know we're pretty excited, and even your vision for Carissa, the app that is the mentorship vehicle that we use for women who create. You want to talk a little bit about how that came to be? I know it was, let's just say, quite a labor of love, and putting it mildly, and just a little bit about what it is, what it does, and how how it came to be.
Yes. So in the beginning, we were part or matching people by they're filling out an application, and my team and I were reading everyone's application, and they were very detailed applications too, trying to find the best match for people, and we were doing that by hand. And as I mentioned, hundreds of applications started coming through. So it was getting a little difficult for us to read everyone's application and match them and hope that it's a great match. And one of our board members at the time suggested that this should evolve into a digital platform. And so all of the wheels started turning, like, how are we going to make this happen? And I was so honored that we had a volunteer team that all donated their time to help us actually design this app, how it works, the UX, everything. And then we fundraised to be able to actually execute on building the app, which is called Carissa. It's a web application. Carissa is rooted in a Greek word that is the goddess of human creativity, which we thought was really special and embodied what we do at Women Who Create. So everyone is welcome to join the platform. Our focus has always been amplifying, elevating women of color. But as I mentioned before, we know that mentorship can come from many different places. You might have a great male mentor, and you might need a women of color mentor. So we've opened it up so that mentees, if they sign up, they can have up to 5 mentors at a time, and you can switch out and get their information, connect with them. Mentors can also uh, talk to 5 mentees at a time. And really, we're just like the broker of connection between people. And we have about 500 people that are on the platform right now. We just launched a few months ago, and we're very, very excited to grow this platform. Um, I see it as something like anyone can join and be connected with someone around the world, really. And to have that kind of connection is so impactful and means so much to people who don't have someone to relate to, or can't find someone, or don't know how to find someone to talk to or give or advice for, just in their day-to-day life or in their job. So you can find more information at charissa.app. It's CHARISA. And I really welcome you to create a profile and see what it's all about.
That's amazing. And I will also say, shameless plug for anyone listening who would even think, oh, I might be a mentor, but a stealth mentorship, it's really a stealth mentorship approach where it's not actually a huge time commitment. You can put in a lot of time for sure, but even just a little bit can actually make someone's entire perspective shift. And that's why it's really great that we offer a few mentee and mentor matches, because perhaps there's someone who is, has a similar immigrant story as you, or they come from a similar socioeconomic status, or something that you relate to because you see yourself in them, as Shaunah was
Mhm.
speaking, whether it's ethnicity, religion, who you love, whatever. But maybe there's a different person who doesn't mirror what you are on the outside, but has a career in the area that you're really interested in. And that way is really kind of an interesting approach to mentoring and mentorship that I think Carissa has, that's so unique, such that you can have a little bit of a kaleidoscope of sources and references for different kinds of perspectives, because we are obviously complicated
Mhm.
beings, and how you show up at work has a combination of things in terms of your culture, your personhood, and your acumen. So I just wanted to say, just to highlight that, because I think it's really unique and hopefully inspires others who might listen to, raise their hand and sign up, either as a mentor or a mentee.
Yeah.
So we talked about the mentorship. We talked about make moves a little bit. We talked about Dream in Color. We talked about Regal Resilience event. So what's else? Oh, well, we didn't talk about the 5-year birthday party, but that was really just for us because it was amazing and fun. And there was cake, and Shaunah and I got to pose like we're apparently doing every year together back to back, arms crossed in this silly, fun way, because we like to also celebrate these amazing achievements. But is there anything else that's on the event horizon that you'd like to talk about and bring some awareness to? And then I guess we can also lead into anything else that you're really hoping and looking for in this partnership with this show and Women Who Create.
Yes, actually, we do have another event this month, which I'm very excited about. It's going to be on March 26th, and it is with our partnership with IPG Health. We are inviting people who are interested in learning about a career in healthcare to join us for an evening of um, inspiring speakers, leadership from IPG Health, to talk about their career, how they got there, how working in healthcare is very impactful. They're going to be doing portfolio reviews. So if anyone has a portfolio that they're interested in getting some feedback on, we will have creative recruiters on site. You can sign up to have your portfolio reviewed. And there'll also be hiring managers on site if you would like to network with them, if you're interested in a job with them. We are hooking you up on every platform. The event is going to be in person at IPG Health, but we will also have a virtual component. So if you're outside of New York, they are hiring people remote, so you'll still have an opportunity to network with them and apply for a job. And we can drop the information wherever it says to drop it if you would like to sign up for the event.
No, that's awesome. And it made me realize we did forget a topic, which was another facet of the organization and the way we work with our sponsors is with a job board and a job placement in a way to help source, diverse talent from across many different areas in tech, in creative arts, in fashion, in, like we said, copywriting, design, even project management, social media marketing, if you name it, there's usually a job post about that. So I neglected to mention the job board. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Of course. I mentioned that we have a large growing community. We've had almost 2,000 mentors and mentees that we've connected. We have a large social presence. I'm just gonna shamelessly brag about it. We've have over 10,000 people in our social media. We have over 5,000 people in our mailing list, and our partners really look to us to as a source, a pipeline for diverse talent. I know this is something that a lot of people struggle with for whatever reason. This is why I'm here. I have the contacts, I have the community, and the people in my community, like, they are following us for in our mailing list for this reason. So when we partner with different organizations, and you can also have job postings just like you can buy them from our website. But when they partner with us, they get a more exclusive inside opportunity to meet our network, to source people from our community, and it's people they would have never met otherwise. You know, people have like their range of people that they know, and this is one circle where it's guaranteed that you will have find diverse talent, find women of color, find talented and creative people that are ready to be hired and are really great and ambitious.
That's amazing. And exactly, it also kind of cuts through the recruiting inbox through like a LinkedIn or a Monster or what have you. And it goes right to the kinds of folks that might not otherwise get to be able to cut through that clutter, or they might not know someone, as you said, who works inside the company to get an internal referral. And lastly, well, not lastly, but lastly, because we're going to be out of time, I was wondering if we could just talk really quickly about sponsorship benefits in terms of some of the programming that we offer one, to sponsors that are, whether they are the workshops or the in-house training. And if you can talk a little bit about that, that would be great too, because then we're going to be, you were worried about time. We're going to be out of time real soon.
We are definitely looking for partners in this year and beyond. When you partner with us, like I was saying, you get access to the pipeline. We also have creative women of color. Um, what is it called? Creative women of color um, database. We have a creative women of color database that has over 1,000 names of women of color who have put in their skill set, their title, where they work, if you're looking for a job that you can have access to. There's the possibility of collaborating with us on a special event, like what we're doing with IPG Health, specifically to get people on site to get it to hire from our pool of people in person, and also highlighting speakers from their organization in a thought leadership way for our Make Moves event or other events that we have, so we can continue to highlight diverse women of color in leadership, but also highlight them from a perspective of their company as well. And then posting on our job board every month. We also have a hiring newsletter that I wanted to plug. It costs nothing. You can sign up on our website, and every other week we deliver a list of women of color that are currently looking for jobs. So we just want to make connections in all the ways possible.
Thank you so much. This has been amazing and incredible. And you can go to womenwhocreate.org. You can follow them on all the socials because they're cool and young and hip and have all that. Like Shaunah said, we have amazing interns and volunteers and some paid folks who are helping get the word out as much as we can, but we need more help. We need more sponsors and partners. As always, we'd love help for our grant program or the employment programs or events. So please, please consider reaching out, reaching over the aisle, above and across and through. And thank you so much, Shaunah, for joining me today and helping spread this message.
Thank you so much for having me.
At the Natanya Experience, we believe we can all rise above challenges, heal, and shine together. And so we give big thanks to our amazing partners who share our vision of universal health and happiness.